A light expeditionary command cruiser, American Forces spaceship AFSS TR-4250, the brash Patriot, orbited the cold planet. They were running in the black, all sensors on passive and in full stealth mode, so as not to tip off anyone on planet. The general had the team infiltrate on planet 10 miles away from where Captain Maldivus, the Patriot's intel officer, said the entrance to an underground lair would most likely be. A fleeting emanation signature picked up on passive scans indicated activity there. From those coords, the general hoped to dig up a bounty hunter by the name of Skeg the Unnatural. Skeg was the eldest son of a rich merchant from Cyril, and like many people who've never had the sobering experience of having to struggle for a meal, Skeg had become discontent with his wealth. He'd begun skimming off his father's property, swiping containers of weaponry to sell to his mercenary buddies. This hadn't lasted long, as the thrill of second-hand thievery wore thin. His thievery had escalated into outright piracy of his father's intergalactic barges. Only when Skeg, in a drug-fueled euphoria, had decided to broadcast over trans-channels his execution of a barge's crew, had his father taken him seriously and finally cut off his income. He disowned his son and put out a hefty reward for his capture. This had driven Skeg off the deep end even more. Branding himself Skeg the Unnatural, rumored to be what his father had called him in their last confrontation, he'd broken into his family's estate and slaughtered his family. Then he drained his father's accounts. Now he was an intergalactic terrorist and bounty hunter with deep enough pockets to make things happen. Many also speculated Skeg pursued dark science as well. Through the raging storm, the general eyed a discolored rock formation across a narrow basin a mile across. In his mind's eye, he stamped the location and sent the coords to his fire team. The entrance, he sent over near feed, a local comm link that minimized detectable electronic emissions. Brandeis and Jericho, the pilot's call signs, lit on his internal display. 2 thumbs-up icons appeared next to the names. His team understood. Carefully, they descended the icy mountain wall into the narrow valley. Many times they had to rely on jump jet bursts to overcome terrain that proved too difficult for them to maneuver in their cumbersome mechs, which weren't ideal for mountain climbing. The pangolin, after a handful of clumsy steps which almost toppled it over, chose its primary transport mode. It curled up on itself, metal scales expanding to form a nearly impenetrable shell. It became a monstrous metal ball. Then it rolled itself off the cliff in a controlled descent, bounding from rocky ledge to rocky ledge. At the bottom it slammed onto the ground, creating a minor tremor, much to the general's displeasure. So much for keeping their presence hidden. They started across the basin, the curled-up pangolin following. The basin looked to have at one time held water, possibly where streams from the higher peaks had decided to congregate in a hidden mountain lake. As they bisected the area, the general noticed how snow didn't collect here like he'd expected. His internal altimeter, calibrated to Tanjin Sov's reference elevation as determined by past geologic scans, told him they were at 25,000 feet, well into the freezing atmosphere. But as the driving wind brutally raked the basin floor, it revealed hints of ground. They stood upon a slick surface, much like ice. Before the general could get out a cautionary word, the ground underneath him exploded in a cataclysmic tumult. Chunks of frozen earth upheaved and churned, allowing water to gush up in fire hose blasts. Brandeis and Jericho, trailing 30 feet behind the general, ignited their jets, putting distance between themselves and the collapsing ground. Within milliseconds of hitting the air, the water froze solid. Long, majestic arcs swept upward, an ice sculpture crafted by the tumult. And at the heart of the sculpture, the general found himself trapped under ice. He cursed as his exoskeleton struggled against the thick ice, several feet thick, covering him. It didn't take long for him to realize even his strength would have a difficult time shattering the ice tomb. Suddenly, he had a different idea, one that varied from his typical first reaction to most situations.